episode 11. We are finally here, presented by Wonderful Pistachios. I'm your host, Demitra Carter, and joining me today, we have Nia Gibson. How are you doing?
Oh, amazing. I can't believe we're on episode 11.
I know, it's flown past.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of Tuesdays, a lot of track and field. Conference championships happened this past weekend, and we saw a lot of big things. I'm a little bit biased with this guest that we're bringing on today, a fellow Baylor Bear. She just went 7.03 meters, Big 12 champion, NCAA indoor long jump champion, personal record, third fastest jump in collegiate history, eighth furthest jump in American history, currently ranked not just NCAA number one, world lead number one. Welcome to the meetup, Alexis. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Happy to be here. So thank you for having me.
I love it. Now, our times at Baylor didn't quite overlap because you transferred in, but what a transfer, what a transition. Talk to me about what that transition was like for you, going from University of Florida and then now being at Baylor, which is a little bit closer to home.
Yeah, no, being closer to home is awesome. Growing up, Florida was my dream school, so when I had the opportunity to go there, it was like, I'm going there. The transition was, hard when you're leaving what you thought was going to be your dream school, but then it's like I'm closer to home. I dealt with a lot of injuries, so being able to come to a school where I felt like I was wanted, not just as an athlete, but as a person, was just big for me. And they say it takes a village, and I believe Baylor is that village that God knew I needed to be with. So ever since I transferred here, it's just been only highs. So I'm just so thankful that, Coach Ford and Coach Stacy took that chance on me after being injured in the portal. So to be here is a blessing, and it's just a walking testimony.
Alexis, I want to expand on that for a quick second. We all know change can be tough, transition can be
hmm
tough. What was the mental switch like that translates into the type of season you're having now?
hmm Yeah, I think just having like that faith. I mean, having something I can call on that's higher than myself and knowing that God has a plan, no matter what. But I go back to just like that village that Baylor has. And anyone who's been at Baylor, I think, can testify that the coaching staff, the team, it's just awesome. Like the environment, you just want to compete for them. Coach Ford, Coach Stacy, those are like my parents away from home. So even though you have those like mental challenges, it's like nice to know I can go to my coaches. Okay, if I'm having a bad day, if I'm struggling, I can go to them, and it's just so much more than track and field. So just having them and having that support made that transition so much easier. Coach Ford recruited me out of high school, so we already had that bond. So it was just like making sure that Baylor wanted me when I entered the portal, and they were like, "We want you." It was like an easy yes. I didn't talk to any other schools. It's like I want to go to Baylor, so that made it a lot easier.
I love that, and I completely agree. My closest friends are from Baylor, like lifelong
Yes.
friends to this day, in their weddings, like all the things. So I think Baylor has something really special, like the community that they bring, the friendships, the family. Is something to commend. Now, I know that we've seen you jump. Like you've been having what a year. Talk to me about what it's like going into this season. Like, were there expectations? What was it that was on your mind before you literally went into indoor?
Yeah, I think I was motivated. Last year, I was the outdoor Big 12 champion, but indoor nationals, outdoor nationals, and Olympic trials, I finished fifth at all those meets, and I was like, that fifth place, it stings. And especially when you start doing it at every meet, you're like, okay, what does this number five mean? But I think I just used that as motivation, and I told Coach Stacy and Coach Ford going into the season, like, I want to win. It's my last year. I want to leave Baylor, with a mark. So I worked hard, put in the work, just not even on the track, but off the track also. So I was just motivated. And I also was like, it's my last year. I want to have fun. I want to, like I said earlier, do it for the coaches, do it for my team. So those fifth places at all the big meets were like, we're not doing this anymore. I want to win. I love to win. So that was just the motivation going into this season.
Alexis, I got to ask, make me feel like I was there with you, like I'm in the same pit with you. When you saw PB, meet record, world lead, all the works, what were your immediate emotions?
I mean, I just raised my hands to the Lord. And I'm like, thank you, Jesus. 23 feet is insane. I mean, I remember I was jumping 21 feet consistently last year. I only jumped 22 twice last year. So I was like, to see 23 feet, it's like the coaches knew I can do it, but to actually see it happen and to see it on my first jump, it's crazy because I never know how far I jump. Like, I don't until I look in the stands and see Coach Stacy, and I see her clapping and I see her screaming. I'm like, okay, so it must have been far. And then, you're waiting for it to finally pop up on the board. So when I saw the, 7:03, I was like, oh my goodness, like it felt far, but I didn't know it was that far. It was just like one of those things where like you work so hard, so to finally see it come to light, it was just like, wow.
Oh,
I know. I
I love
love
that.
that.
I
It's so
love
nice. I
that.
think NCAA indoors, there was the picture circulating of you hugging Coach Stacy and Coach Ford after, like all the
Yes.
emotions, all the feels.
Yes.
And I think that goes back to your goal this year was to leave a mark and
Mhm.
win. And that is literally what you're doing. So it's so nice to witness.
Mhm.
Now, I do
Yeah.
want to talk about we have a long season ahead of us. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but we have, of course, West prelims, and then we have NCAA's, and then USA
Yes.
Outdoors, all the things. Tara Davis Woodhall even put a little tweet or thread out about it. I'm not going to say it was specifically, but it was you. She was like, it's so nice to see these girls jumping past 7 meters. Like, it's like a new
Mhm.
standard. So, talk to me
Right.
about what your goals are, like
Good
coming
morning.
up the rest of the season.
Yeah, the goal is just to be consistent, with that 7-meter mark because it's gonna take that to make it, to Worlds. My goal is to go to Tokyo to make that Worlds team, to be able to jump, with the Taras. You have Jasmine Moore, you have Claire Bryant, who all are jumping really good right now. So I think it's just like motivation to keep wanting to jump far. But yeah, the goal is, of course, we have to get through prelims, qualify for nationals, bring home that title back to Waco to be like the indoor outdoor champ is of course the goal. And then we start preparing for, postseason. So if that's going to me to just like make sure I'm ready for trials because they are a lot later this season. And then just go from there. So it's exciting.
Now, really quick, you mentioned Jasmine and Claire. Were you teammates with them while you were at Florida?
Yeah, I was. I actually was Claire's host when she came to Florida. So it's so crazy because we're both from Texas. Jasmine is from Texas, so I've known them since high school. I competed against Jasmine, so it's all love on this end, like at the end of the day we're competitors, but I still root for them. I want the best for them. So, yeah.
I love it.
Alexis, you're clearly a different athlete than you were from last year. The proof is in the pudding. Numbers don't lie. Does preparation look a little different going into a world championship year than it did last year?
Not really. Honestly, I think it's just like the same thing. Like I told the coaches, like my goal right now is the college season. So I think we were just focused on making sure I had that good college season. And then whatever happened after that, we would, prepare for that. So I think now knowing what I've jumped, now it's like, okay, take a step back. We can now figure out like, okay, this girl has a chance to have a long season. So what do we do now to prepare for, worlds and even after that?
I'm excited. Now, I don't I don't want to put you on the spot too much, but I am going to actually you don't have to answer, but I always have to ask, how far do you think you can go this year? I'll limit you to this year.
My goal, like I told Coach Stacy, is to get that collegiate record. Tara has it at 7:14. If that's what the Lord has for me, like let's do it. We still have two more meets to get that mark, but I think the sky's the limit. I tell them all the time. I'm still learning this event. So it's that I think that's what's the most exciting thing. But of course, to keep going, 7:14 is the goal as far as like collegiately. So yeah.
Alexis, I can only imagine you're still kind of riding a little bit of a high. How do you kind of like reel it back in to prepare yourself for like what's prelims and
Hmm.
nationals?
Right. I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter what I did this past weekend. If I can't finish in the top 12 at, an A&M, it's like you don't even have a chance to go to Eugene. So it's like now we have to focus, make sure that you're ready because you only get 3 jumps, at West Prelim. So it's important to make sure that, we're fixing the little things, making sure I'm consistent for those first 3 jumps so that I can go into it. And then when you get to Eugene, it's like the pressure's off. You made it here. You're in that moment. So just focusing on that.
I love it.
Yeah, same here.
Yes. Well, it was so great having you on. I cannot wait. I'll be
Yes.
watching you for a fact. West prelims, even though it's about qualifying, I'll be watching you in
Yes.
Eugene. I'm so excited. And I wait, correct me if I'm wrong. Would you be the first long jump champion at Baylor? Or did Stacy get a title?
No, so I was the first indoor to ever bring
Got you.
home a long jump title. So that was exciting.
I love it. And you'll
Yeah.
be the first outdoor then.
Yes.
I'm excited. Make some more history.
Yes, I know. Yes.
Nice. We're rooting for you.
I
Thank
love
y'all.
it. Well, thank you for joining us, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Get rested, and we'll be watching.
Yes. Thank you, guys. Have a
Right.
good
Bye,
one.
I love it. Conference was a weekend.
Oh, wasn't it just?
Yeah, we saw a lot of really cool things, fast times, literally a world lead from a collegiate athlete. That's crazy.
I know.
Yeah. Now talk to me. I know we have some top moments. You told me about there's a dual athlete out here that's killing the game. Tell me about him.
Makai Danzy, Florida State. You know, I had to bring something in for ACCs and represent. That's a home conference for sure. But Makai Danzy, he also plays football for Florida State. He ran the 400, won the 400, personal best time, ACC record, meet record, and that time would have won at SECs.
That's insane.
44.3.
That's crazy. So I did my research. He hasn't ran 100 like in college yet.
Yeah.
But he's on the 4x1.
Yep.
I mean, hey, I'm not a coach. I would drop him down. He's a wide receiver. If he can run like that in a 400, I would love to see maybe not even a 1, like a 200.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like, he's the type of runner that if he, not saying that he should like stop playing football, but if he decided to run an indoor season, or I know he redshirted this past season for Florida State, but if he could get those reps, I think he can definitely run like 20 point. He has the talent. He has the speed. Obviously, he has the strength.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's somebody. I think it's worth it. The football team's not doing great right this year. They finished 2-10. I think that was like their worst record since 1974.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like they ended it like like their season was bad. So I think like redshirt another season, run the indoors, run indoor. Why not?
No, I mean, he clearly has the talent. Like you said, running times like that, SECs. I'm not saying you should transfer out or anything,
sure.
but like that's a standard.
Translates. Yes, it definitely translates. And I think it shows to him as an athlete, not even just like as a runner particularly. He's able to, because he was able to run like, yeah, he ran 44.3. He played 4 games before he was still eligible to like do his redshirt season. Had a few catches, was still somewhat, useful in these games. But I don't think Florida State's doing well enough for him to like, I think I would say like, yeah, try indoor season.
Yeah, the 44 is crazy.
I know.
From a dual sport athlete that didn't even run the open 1 and 2. He was on the 4x1, and that's it. I love it. On the same sprint side, we have to talk about Demitra.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, when she crossed the line, she held up a 3 because she got 3 SEC titles, 1, 2, and then 4x1.
And 4x4, didn't she? Didn't they win the 4x4 South Carolina?
Well, this 3 was taken after the 1, 2, 4x1.
Okay.
So yeah, I can't. That's where that was taken. She wasn't the 4x4 too, but like it's insane. Like she's only a sophomore. She went 22:01, which is a 5th fastest time in collegiate history. And then on top of that, let's not forget she literally got second at NCAA's outdoors with a 22:0 against Mackenzie Long, who's now a professional athlete and an Olympian.
Hoka got a good one. That's who she's. Yeah, Hoka got a good one with her signing that NIL deal. That is a great way to introduce somebody into your sprint program that you're trying to really, not sprint program, but like into like sprints NIL. She's going 21 point at nationals.
I mean, yeah, I think if weather permits, 100%.
Yes.
Yeah, and she's what, a sophomore? Like she's not even a senior.
And she's not scared. I think that's the thing. You're seeing like outside of the track, she has this attitude where it's like, watch me run and watch me win. Because I was looking at her story and she was like, make sure you tune in. I'm running the 4x1. I'm running 4x4. I'm running the 100. This time. Don't miss it because I'm going to put on a show. And that she did.
Yeah. I love her.
How could you
I'm
not?
a fan. Like
How could you not?
The Hoka deal was so cute. Like her nails, it had like the little, I don't know what the symbol's called, but it had like their logo on it. No, that was smart. And I love when brands like they start to get in new markets, and Hoka's doing that. And I think choosing her was a good decision.
That was a great decision. And I'm sure like it was probably like a war trying to get her with other brands, but I love that she's with Hoka because I think it's nice to also change their identity a bit. They're not just this like brand that only does crazy powerhouse distance athletes.
Yeah.
Watch us work.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Maybe they'll do hurdles and field events next.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Field would be nice next.
Field would be nice. I'm rooting for it. I do want to talk about going back to Florida because we talked about a little bit of Alexis Brown. What did you call him? Jump You?
Jump You.
This has nothing to do with that, but I didn't know that they were called Jump You.
It makes sense.
It
makes
literally
so much
Claire
sense.
Bryant, Alexis
Jasmine
was there,
Moore.
Jasmine Moore. Yeah.
Jump you.
Hold on. I might be a jumper. I might go back to school or something.
And Claire, she jumped 702 in Atlanta.
Yeah. And the crazy thing, 702, and then her former teammate 703.
Jump you.
Maybe it's the Gainesville air. That's what it is. I need to just get a little whiff. Habiba Harris also goes to the University of Florida. Yes. A freshman, might I add, ran a collegiate lead. Well, she already had the lead, broke her own collegiate lead, and went 12:62 in the 100-meter hurdle prelims. Number 2 time in program history. A freshman and won SECs. A freshman.
They have something brewing in Gainesville right now. They have a great recruiting class this year.
Yeah.
I think like when they get Peyton Payne, that 4x1 is going to be dangerous.
Yeah.
And they're young. They are so young. It'd be like usually you're seeing this level of success for like upperclassmen, juniors, seniors, maybe a 5th year, because they've been there, they have the experience, they have the pedigree. But the fact that she's coming in here, her first SECs, dominating in this fashion as a freshman, oh, it's spooky next year.
Not spooky.
It's spooky.
That is, what a choice of words. That is so funny.
Spooky in Gainesville.
I believe it. They've always produced, though. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, like, I mean, I think Holloway has a very special program over there because for as long as I can remember, they've produced star athletes throughout, because you have like your Grant Holloways that you have all the way up to your Parker Valbys. And it seems as though, I mean, I know Coach Holloway doesn't do distance, but like just for Florida specifically, it seems as though they got it right in terms of everything. Jumps, I think they have a pretty good field event program with their throwers, sprints, distance, mid-distance. It's nice over there.
Yeah, I like it. And the weather's nice.
It is nice.
I'm a fan. I really am.
I go Gators.
No, you know what? Okay, so I have to tell the story. I'm sorry. Okay. So when I was at Baylor, everybody has their different symbols. So like, I mean, I'm not gonna throw them all up, but you have like Longhorns, you have like, what is this? University of Houston, you have TCU, this is Trojans, this is somebody else, Oklahoma Sooners. Everybody has their signs, but Florida, this little gator.
Yeah,
cloud,
no, that goes hard. That goes hard.
We always said you never want to get walked down by a Florida Gator, because the moment you hear them claps, baby, they're coming.
And it's so identifiable, because I'll be honest with you, if someone threw this up, I'm like, what school is that?
And I'm like, y'all won or something?
No disrespect, Oklahoma. But
yeah, they can take the disrespect from me. I went to Baylor. This, I'm not gonna lie.
Because don't we all do this?
If I win, I'm doing this too.
Yeah.
That's what we need. I just want more. That's all. It's not that I'm a hater. Jalen Hurts went there, I'm pretty sure. Like, I'm not a hater, but yeah, we can work on our symbols. But that's my side note. I do like Florida's, the Gator thing it eats. Now, I do want to go into what other person that you think kind of showed out conference this weekend.
Back to the ACC. Let's talk about one half of that two-headed monster out in where's UNC out again?
North Carolina.
I know North Carolina.
Chapel Hill?
No.
Yes. No.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The one half of the two-headed monster at Chapel Hill, Parker Wolf. He won the 5K. He won the 10K, both in personal best fashion. But I think for the 5K specifically, a meet and an ACC record. He can't be stopped. He won't be stopped. And I'm so excited for the day he goes pro because he's just, wow.
Yeah, he was the first ACC athlete to successfully defend both 5K and 10K titles. That's impressive.
That's a lot of mileage on your legs, too.
No, it is, for sure. We got to see him at Penn Relays, too. I like him. I'm a fan.
He's fun.
Yeah.
He's really fun. But no, he did such a good job this weekend. And I think right behind him in the 5K was his teammate, the other half of the two-headed monster I'd like to call, Ethan Strand. And yeah, what they have going on there is really nice.
I love it. Now, to be fair, this is my PSA. That my PSA is that we don't have time to talk about everything that happened in conference. So I don't want y'all comment and be like, y'all missed somebody. I know we did.
I know.
So it was a thick weekend, all the conferences, a lot of fast times. We'll dive more into when it gets closer to NCAAs though, for sure.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
You'll see me in my Syracuse jacket.
You'll see me I'm gonna wear my Baylor Letterman. We'll bring it.
Ooh.
I love it. It'll be cute. Now, I want to go into another thing that happened this weekend, Atlanta City Games.
Yes.
Once again, we don't have time for everything, but we have time for a couple things.
Yes.
Nia? No. Yeah, Nia, I'll let you go first.
All right, Kenny Harrison. She's somebody I want to talk about because the way she's running right now screams, I want my American record back. I want my world record back. And I think, again, the women's 100 hurdles is going to be competitive. It is competitive because obviously we have the best in the world right now. It has to be like Masai Russell.
Yeah.
She's running some of her best track right now. And a lot of the time you can't predict it because a lot of things have to go right for you in order for you to successfully win a race, especially on a big stage. I think Kenny Harrison, she has the experience, but I think what she does have also is she knows what it is for a lot of stuff to go wrong on a big stage. Yeah, she had the world record at one point, the American record at one point, but there was a point in time where she just couldn't produce at the Olympics or the world stage in a certain fashion. She ended up finally getting second place at the World Championships. I can't remember which year, but the fact that she's finally getting it right, I think post-injury and running times, and she's running consistently, I think she's somebody to watch out for, potentially even on the podium. Because again, I think she edged out Tia Jones, who's also running, I think, some of her best track right now.
Yeah.
She ran number 3 all time at Grand Slam Miami, right behind Masai Russell, who then
broke
ran
the record.
number 2 all time and American record.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Kenny Harrison might be a bit of a sleeper this year. Yeah, she's in vet status, I guess, right now, technically speaking, because of her age, but she's running super well, and Atlanta City Games is just a testament to that.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I've grown up watching Kenny, and I think to see her make a coaching change and be able to adjust her training and come out the way she's still coming out is really impressive. I love watching her run. Yeah,
it's hard not to be a fan. I think Michael Jordan has a quote where it was like, I succeed so, like something along the lines where he succeeds so much because he failed so many. There's been many times where he was trusted to take the game-winning shots and missed. And I think Kenny Harrison kind of falls into that bucket where she's going to succeed so much because she knows what it's like to fail on that stage. She knows that feeling firsthand. And I know it's something that she doesn't want to feel again, but that experience of feeling it makes it where, I'm going to make these adjustments and follow through and succeed.
I love it. No, I can't wait to see her continue to race. And the women's hurdles, they never duck each other. It's always a race every single time. Now, I want to go into another one at Atlanta City Games. Favor Ofili broke a world record. Now, fair warning, it was a 150, but first person to go sub 16, and she went 1585 for a world record in the middle of Atlanta, a park.
Yeah, like this track they just built.
No, it's nice to also see her running like this again. You don't see 150s too often, but it's a fun race. Yeah, it's like a long 100, really. They just go straight with this track. It was fun.
It's definitely like one of those awkward races. I wonder how people felt running the 200 because usually I think at certain parts of the track is when you're maybe out of your drive phase, hitting your top end speed, thinking when you want to slingshot off of the turn, but it's just a straight. How do you measure that? Because that's not your normal race. And I say all that to say, same thing for the 150. It's an odd race. But the fact that she was able to kind of measure it out well, I think it speaks to how she runs strategically as well.
No, I completely agree. And you're 100% right, because 100 in the 200, very different races, and that 150 is like the perfect middle. I love just like a Gabby Thomas run it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I make it a race. You know what? I feel like World Athletics, they always have, they added in the mixed 4x1, which once again, nobody asked for, but I would love to see like a 150.
I would too.
Even no, just 150. I'll leave it at that.
That's a sweet spot race.
We got 300 hurdles, which I'm happy about. 150.
That's a sweet spot race.
Yeah.
I'd love to see, yes, Gabby Thomas in that race, but also like a Sha'Carri Richardson as well. I think that's a sweet spot race for like that short sprinters, middle sprinter type.
It shows your speed endurance, because I feel like 200 is a little more speed endurance. It's who doesn't slow down, and Gabby can catch people. Gabby has the speed, but she has better speed endurance. But I feel like your Jujus, your Julian Alfreds, your Sha'Carris, they just have straight speed. I'm not saying they don't have speed endurance, but you've seen Gabby Thomas race, she catches. It's not that she's catching, it's that everybody else is slowing down faster.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think Melissa Jefferson would tear that up too.
She would
tear that up.
No, we need. You know what, Grand Slam? We need a 150.
We need a
I heard
150.
y'all out here cutting the 5,000. I have a race for you to enter. We can add the 150. That's my go-to.
We got to make Central run that. We've been I just put him in certain races just because he stopped.
You put him in a 150.
I want to see it.
Okay.
I know he ran a 1500 and stuff, but
that's why I'm like a 150.
He's not pro anymore, so
you saying he has the time?
Yeah.
Okay. You think he's gonna bring his kid with him, or what's?
I hope so. He put him in the race too.
Oh, period. Isn't the baby fresh? It's not even
when he starts crawling.
He has a son or daughter?
It's a son.
Okay. Is this boy not even crawling.
Yeah, not yet. When he starts to crawl, so that means he has time to train. He can train for that 150. And so when Sunny Sun starts crawling,
put him in the bouncer to get his legs active. I like it. I love it. I'm with it. Now, we also had Doha Diamond League this weekend. Lots of things happened. We had the Athletes Lounge. I got to see your reactions to a lot of these different races, but let's go ahead and get into this women's 100. I know you talked about, I'm not going to say what your pick was. You technically didn't get it correct. Yeah. I think you had a Jamaican sweep, but it was close.
I did.
Talk me through it.
Amy Hunt ruined my sweep, girl.
Your downfall.
She ruined my sweep, but at the same time, I'm so happy for her. And I'm so excited for what the 100 has in store for us this year, especially going into Worlds, because she was pulled to a personal best. So the Clayton twins got 1-2. Shelly-Ann Frazier got 4th. But Amy Hunt, she was kind of that dark horse of the race. She ran 11:0. Let me not say the wrong time, but it was a personal best nonetheless. And I think we have the type of field, and even aside from Doha, the caliber of women and the depth of women that we have running this 100, I think we're going to see a lot of personal bests, maybe potentially like American records. We're going to definitely see a ton of national records outside of the U.S. as well. But I think in order to make that final, a lot of personal bests are going to have to be ran. I think this was a bit of a preview of that. Amy Hunt really did her thing in this race. Like throughout, like her start was great. The middle of her race was great when she was transitioning from her dry race to the top end. And I think too, like just the way she dipped, she finished that race. But obviously, again, the Clayton twins, they're going to be something special. Tia was in the Olympic final. The race.
I'm excited. Yeah, I think even for Shelly, and we were talking with English, this is the earliest that she's opened up. And I don't know. I think she's a veteran in this, and I'm really confident in her ability to not necessarily shake back, but like take her losses, add it up, and then compete when it's really time to compete. I mean, she's a vet in the game. Like they call her one of the best in the world for a reason, and she's earned that. So I think it was, although I would have loved to see her win, I think that like this race to her is not like that's not the goal. It's her last season running. So I'm very grateful to be able to watch her race, because we're going to get old enough one day where it's like back in my day, we had Shelly-Ann. So it's really nice to see her during this last season, but also I'm hopeful and excited to see her closer to September.
And it's a treat for sure. You know, she's not being as choosy with her races nowadays. So as a fan, it's nice to see her more in her last season.
Yeah.
But I think also too, I saw a lot of things on social media talking about, oh my God, Shelly, da-da-da. Let's not overreact.
Yeah.
Let's not overreact. We all know normally she starts out a lot later. We all know that this is not the time where she's going to be in tip-top sprint shape, with everything being so late as well. We're only in May.
Yeah.
So,
and especially, I'm not saying her age means anything, but when you get to a certain age, running hurts. Running hurts already, but like you have to be very mindful of when you race, how you race. And
for sure. And I think she's being very conservative with how she runs when she runs. You know, I think at a certain point in the race, while some people are running through the line and running for their life, I think at a certain point she's going to shut it down, where it's like, okay, it's fine. This is where I'm going to finish.
Yeah. You know what that reminds me of? This is a little off topic, but it was USA Outdoors, I believe last year, when it was to make Paris Olympics, and the 100 women's hurdles. Everybody from the heats were automatically going to qualify to semis. I want to say it was Kenny, but it was a veteran for sure who like 5-stepped through the hurdle, like intentionally got on the blocks, jogged, 5-stepped. And
I remember that. Yeah.
Was it Kenny?
Was it?
It was a veteran for sure who's made the team. I know that for a fact. I just don't remember who. But I think even those moments take into account of what your body is capable of doing and what you need to do in order to have the best possibilities and chances to make the team. So
I'm thinking Kenny or Nia Ali.
Yeah. Oh, I think it was Nia. It was definitely Nia. Okay. Yes. I was like, I was like, I know the face.
Because it's kind of like, for what?
For what?
For what?
And a lot of people were commenting like, why are they even running the heats? And they were running still to get lane assignments. But like, if you're a vet like that, lane 1 through 8 is all the same. It's all the same distance, especially on a straightaway like that. Like, so, yeah. Now we do need to get into this javelin throw.
Ooh.
I'm excited. So. I just learned that Niraj Chopra has like the most followers in all of track and field. But most importantly, Julian Weber won with the world lead on his last throw from Germany, 91.06. Now, I watched y'all's reactions happened to that? Because it was the last thrower, and Niraj at the time had the number one time. He was not guaranteed, but he was supposed to win. Talk to me about what that was like, seeing him in the moment, like, oh, you like, I don't know much about javelin, but that's far.
Yes, definitely want to expand on that point because I don't know much about javelin.
Yeah.
And usually when I'm watching javelin or shot put or certain events that I'm just not an expert analyst on, I'm kind of like, oh, okay, it looked like he threw the shot put. Looked like he threw the javelin.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like on the time, the throw on the board, it's fine. But when that javelin left his hand, it went up, glided through the air, and it looked as though he was aiming for lane 1. And you knew it was far from where, like, when it just kept going and going and going and going. And I think that's how you know that certain things are just amazing or spectacular. When you know that you just don't know, but you're watching certain things, you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
it didn't land yet. And then, Trey went on to go on and say, when you're throwing over 90 feet, you're, pretty much so like that.
Yeah.
He called it like a world champion sneak peek type of ordeal, minus a couple of throwers. But yeah, it was hard for me to stay in my seat. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, I love it. Now, then Niraj Chopra, the man's famous. I'm sorry. I don't know why. I'm sorry for being late to this, but I'm now a fan. Throws for India. He threw 90.23. The people love this man, and I'm here for it. Like, it's good for the sport. And like, here he is taking photos with, like, literally, the amount of pictures of him taking pictures with people is amazing. And I'm assuming that he's nice because he's always pictured doing literally this right here. So yeah, he has a fan in me now. I'm a javelin fan. I'm still a shot put fan first, but javelin's like a close
I was about
second.
to say, I'm telling Trey. But yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And I think what's nice to see too is I hope the American audience is taking note. There's been a lot of talk, and oftentimes I'm seeing field events, they ain't this, or they kind of suck, or they should just maybe take it out of the program altogether because nobody cares.
Yeah.
When, we have to kind of get out of this main character syndrome that we have here and recognize that people do care. And to your point, he has the most followers in track and field, period, right?
Yeah.
So more than your Sha'Carri's, more than your Gabby Thomas's, more than your
Tars.
Taras.
Yeah.
So, stamp it. You know what I mean? Look at what's going on, see that people care, and get hip.
Yeah.
Like, don't let that boat leave you. People do care about these events. Maybe just because you don't understand it doesn't mean that it's not relevant elsewhere. And obviously outside the United States, it's very relevant. I couldn't imagine seeing, what is it, like, how many?
It's like 9 million.
Like
it's
9
up
million?
there. Like, yeah, if you go look it up.
Like,
it's like, because when I think Trey said it in the show last week for Doha, the Diamond League show, and like, I'm literally listening. I went on my phone. I was like, there's no way he has more followers than Sha'Carri, Sydney, like all these other people. He does.
He does. And it's a level of credibility that I hope everybody sees, where it's like, oh, let me watch my mouth when I say nobody cares about field events.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. Now, I do want to dive into this other segment really quick. I know we had to rush through this deep dive, but so much happened, but we hit our high points. This next one is presented by Wonderful Pistachios. It's called the Flavor of the Fast. So we have lightly salted, we have sweet chill, and we have original. Me and Nia are going to go through our picks for each. Now, let me explain, okay? I'll tell you what lightly salted is. Lightly salted is the athlete who might be a teeny tiny bit salty after their race. It could be for anything. We'll give you our reasons later. Sweet chill, somebody who's a little spicy. A little spicy. And then Nia, tell us what original is.
An original is kind of like your textbook winner. I compare an original pistachio to Allison Felix. They don't do too much. They're not flashy, but they always get the job done, just like your original pistachios.
I love it. I'll let you start off. Who is your lightly salted?
Let's see, Tobogo for sure. He did cross the line. He did win 20.1 season's best, but it seems as though he was wanting more. He looked over to his side and was it looked almost confused as to why he was so close to him, because I think Tobogo came into this race obviously very confident, very cool, calm, and collected. He definitely can fall into the original pistachio category normally, but the way in which usually it's very much so catch me if you can for this race in particular when it comes to Tobogo running. But he looked just unsatisfied. He's looked at the time, he looked at how close people were to him, and that 20.1 just didn't seem to be cutting it for him, which I think great problems to have, because as a fan, I do think his next 200, that's going to translate. It looked like, I don't want to feel this way again. He was a little too close to me. Back to the drawing board. Let's see what we have to do, what we have to change, or maybe not change anything and just tune it up a little bit. So he's my salty.
I love it. My lightly salted is Nathaniel Ezekiel. He has an NCAA lead, national record, but he hasn't got like his individual NCAA title yet. And I want that for him, but like I would put lightly salted for Nathaniel Ezekiel. He's clearly fast. He's clearly good. And we've seen him go into competitions with the world lead. Or not world lead, but the NCAA lead. But I'm excited to see him go into West Prelims and NCAA Outdoors and execute his race like he did at Big 12s and really get a title. Yeah, I want it for him. Now, Sweet Chili, I'll kick us off. So my Sweet Chili is the Baylor women's 4x1. So they're number 2 in the NCAA, and they're second to South Carolina. And they lost to South Carolina at a home meet earlier this season. Now they're 1-2. They didn't run their number 2 time in that race. They ran their number 2 time at Big 12s this past weekend. But I think it would be really cool to not only see Alexis Brown get that long jump title, but then to double back and get that 4x1 title. So that's my spicy take. It is a selfishly spicy take, but I think Baylor 4x1, like, the only team better than you technically beat you one time on your home turf. Yeah. What about you?
I like that. I like that your Sweet Chili is on the collegiate side, because so is mine.
I love it.
Them women UGA dogs. Oh, my mom's gonna hate this because she went to Georgia Tech and that's their rival. But I'm sorry, go dogs.
Yeah.
Listen, UGA women, they are so deep, just across track and field. They won convincingly the SEC title this past weekend, and maybe some of their teams didn't win. Like, obviously, minus Leah Butler, she won at 50 points. She's, I think, arguably the best quarter miler in NCAA right now. Yeah, they came second in the 4x4. I think Aaliyah split 48 point, if I was reading that correctly. Then you on the field side, Elena Kolinchenko. I think I'm saying her last name right. If I'm not, I'm so sorry. And phonetically put it for me in the comments. But she came second in the high jump. She's someone who regularly scores super well. I think she also jumped for her country in the Olympics. She glides over that bar. I really do think that, I watched it, and congrats to the winner, but I do think Elena just maybe misstepped a couple times on some of her jumps. But watch out for her NCAA. She's my pick to win it all. But then on top of that, you have Kayla Jackson. She was in the 100 final. And I say all that to say they're just pretty spread out. They're super deep. And that team is spicy and someone to always look out for. They also won SEC indoors. And yeah, go dogs.
I love it. Who's your original?
My original is Allison Dos Santos. So at Atlanta City Games, he ran and won the 200-meter hurdles. And again, he has been just dominating this entire season. Between Grand Slam and between what I saw this weekend, he just wins and does it with so much grace, so much poise. But again, he always gets the job done. If we're going to look at his 2025 season, he is the textbook definition of what it means to be a winner. That is an original pistachio right there. Although I will say he kind of teeter-tottered into the spicy lane after the race.
You can't have all the flavors, Nia.
I know. He teeter-tottered in there because after this race,
all your picks and all my picks can actually be everything.
They could, but more so this one. He made Caleb Dean do some push-ups after the race. It seemed as though maybe they had a bet going on or something of the sort. But again, I mean, all that aside, he's always so graceful. He has so much poise. His sportsmanship is up here, and I love it. He's my original. What about you?
I love it. My original is going to have to be Simbine. He's kicked off this outdoor season with a win and hasn't lost yet. So we have Botswana, Xiamen, Shanghai, Atlanta City Games. He went sub 10 at all those races except Atlanta City Games. The track was built that day, so maybe that's why. But I think he's definitely my original. He's showing up, doing what he does best. And I mean, I think right now there's no doubt that he's going to go out and compete every time.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, I love it. Now, we're going to dive into what's hot. And then afterwards, we're going to bring on John Davern to talk through. Actually, no, I want to bring on John now so he can help with our NFL schedule picks.
Is he a Steelers fan?
I don't know. We have to ask. Yeah. Can we bring John on? Beautiful. All right, welcome to the meetup, John. Everybody, I mean, if you watch FloTrack Miles, but you've seen John before, so he's not new, maybe new to the meetup, but welcome to your first meetup appearance. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm terrified for what you might have just brought me into.
It's not crazy. It's not crazy. What fan are you of NFL team?
I'm a Bengals fan, so that's why I'm even more terrified now for what you're.
It's not crazy now.
They're a good team, and they just were a bit frustrating to watch last season.
Now, before we start, I did. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say they're a bit frustrating to watch every season, but that's just.
Y'all can switch teams.
Oh, no. I mean, as bad as my Giants are, like, Giants for life.
John, do you want to switch?
Is Nia wearing an Odell Beckham?
I sure am.
Unfortunately is.
I sure am.
Wow.
I would like to add that I did bring a Chiefs shirt just to remind everybody of who's like the best team.
Did we watch the same Super Bowl?
Who was there and who wasn't?
Not too much.
Yeah. I'm joking. But I mean, I'm not joking. But yeah, I brought it here just so we're all aware. Yeah, that's all. We both have 4 Super Bowl titles, though. 3 of them were actually in my lifetime. So, I mean,
we're not that far behind. 2 was in mine.
Okay. All right, but we're going to get into these NFL schedules. Now, shockingly, my pick was not the Chiefs. So we picked our best schedule releases. So that's what we're about to watch, John, with everybody else. Now, this first one is the Tennessee Titans. I loved it. You know the commercials where it's like, you can take this pill and it'll make your hair grow. And while they're like dancing and singing, they're like, but it might make you die. And there's side effects that could happen. That's what their video is, and it's funny. So let's go ahead and watch it.
And when your team is playing this season, life can lose its luster. For millions of fans suffering from football season withdrawal, or FSW, even relationships can lose their spark. But now, there's Schedule Resi, a once-a-season schedule fix that cures FSW.
Football is everything. Schedule Resi.
With Schedule Resi, you can live your season to the fullest. 18 beautiful weeks, marked, circled, counted down.
I was feeling down. Schedule Resi turned it all around.
Consult Tennessee Titans tickets before taking Schedule Resi. Side effects include altitude sickness, gridlock, hand, foot, and mouth disease, imposter syndrome, heat stroke, cropping out, melancholy, general malaise, jet lag, jock itch, diarrhea, nausea, and slurred speech.
Now my future's bright.
Diarrhea is diabolical.
Schedule Resi, I see the light. Football is everything.
Thanks, Schedule Resi.
Thanks, Schedule Resi.
I got my Schedule
I mean, you see why I'm a fan of
Schedule
this.
Resi is right
Like,
for
I
you.
could care less about this schedule. That's funny.
That is crazy.
It's also shady.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
The pure amount of effort that like these social media coordinators or like these video producers put in for these like schedule release videos that, I mean, I'm sure they get tons of views, but like the shelf life on like the content itself is like so like short. It's just so funny that they put in some effort. But I honestly wouldn't have known that was like a schedule release if I wasn't paying attention until like the end.
Yeah, because they show it at the end.
Yeah.
They do that with a lot of them. Even like there was a Severance themed one. I don't know if you watched any of them, but there was a Severance themed one. It was at the end.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We should do something like that.
That's a good idea. Diamond League schedule announcement. I mean, we know the schedule, but like still, we could do a Diamond League schedule announcement. That'd be cute.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
You can do it for 2026.
I'm here for it.
I don't see why not.
But
we can't be shady, right?
Well,
Sure we can.
Yeah, location-wise.
Location, right?
Like Shaman and Shanghai could be jet lag. They did jet lag for the Seattle Seahawks.
True.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let me get in the lab, y'all.
Period. Now, Nia, I know this one is
the best one.
It's your team. I do like Love Island, so that's why I like it. Go ahead. I'll let you cue it up. Talk us through it.
Listen, what can I say? It is the best city in the world. So, of course, it's going to produce the best schedule release of the world. Regardless of how we do, I want you guys focused. That's not the point. You know what I mean? Regardless of how we end the season.
Or start it.
Not too much. I really think we're going to be 9-8 this season. If a lot of stuff has to go right for us, a lot of stuff has to go wrong for a lot of other people. And that's what I'm banking on. And that's what I'm praying on. But best city in the world, best schedule release in the world. Come on, New York Giants. Let's do it.
Okay. You guys ready for this?
This is really nice. I'm built for this.
Let's get this thing started, y'all.
Like my hair? I was due for a blowout. Hi, I'm Destiny, but everyone calls me Dynasty. My favorite animals are zebras.
They call her Dynasty,
I love
though.
the stripes.
The champ is here. Name's J-E-O-Y, Joey.
That's very Eagles.
Go Birds! They're gonna love my body. Look at this push. Camera guy, push in right here. I'm a pretty intense guy. Probably the most intense guy here.
I'm actually a pretty nice fellow. It's just that I tend to get a bit intense from time to time.
No one understands me. 4 hours of makeup daily.
Big analytics guy, all about maximizing optionality. I like to wind down my days listening to Alpha Male Bro podcasts while practicing extreme meditation.
I'm gonna be America's sweetheart. I can guarantee it.
That's one of our producers' teams.
I love it. John, you're about to say something. What was it about the New York Giants?
I heard Nia say that she wanted the Giants to go 9-8, and I just like that would be the worst thing ever if the Bengals. Like I was just like thinking like that's awful. Like,
It's not impossible. A little.
but it's just like
but.
the worst thing that could possibly happen because then you might squeak into the playoffs, but like you're not gonna like get out of round one.
I'm telling you, like wild card territory. And, you know, even if we bring it back to track, I think it's important to mention our running back, Dante Miller, he used to run track.
What does that have to do with your team being good?
I just wanted to put that out there.
I like that you're trying to like pull at something for him to be good. I really love that for you.
Bryce Ford Wheaton was also, you know.
I feel like I will say I feel like a lot of like your wide receivers run track at some point.
For sure.
We saw even the FSU guy. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, but still, just had to put that in.
I could bring the shirt back out if you need me to.
No, it's
okay.
Yuck. Actually, I don't even think he's a running back. I'll figure that out. But regardless, you know, the best team just had the best schedule release from the best city. So I think it's important to note that.
All right. We'll circle back in the fall during what episode? I don't know, 50. We'll circle back and we'll look at the sheet because y'all have a hot schedule. Chiefs and Eagles back to back at the beginning. Good luck, girl. I'll be praying for you.
We will win. Y'all gotta see me come in here depressed and be like, "So what's the hot topic?" I'm like, I don't have the heart to talk about no hot topics right now. I'm in mourning.
That is so funny. Now I want to bring into going right into the Sound Running TrackFest that's happening. We're going to end this show talking about what you should be watching this weekend. So, John, take us through a little baby preview of what to expect, what we should look out for, really all the things.
I'm going to take a deep breath because, before the show, I was like going through the entries again. And I think there's way too many storylines to talk about. So I'll just kind of glance over the ones that I'm the most interested in.
Okay.
And so we'll start with Sadie Engelhart. She's going to make her outdoor season debut in the 1500. She's in the second section. So she's not in the fastest of the sections, but there are still some pretty notable names in that heat. You have Colleen Quigley. Obviously, she's kind of making her return to the sport. Not that she was like ever so far away where it's like, super consequential, but like she did spend a couple of years with injury, and now so she's been back this outdoor season, and excited to see her in that race. But there's also like a couple of sub 15 minute 5K runners in that 15 as well. So you have Courtney Wayman and Bailey Hertenstein. Those two should kind of bring some flair to that heat. So the women's fields at TrackFest are really, really strong. The fact that you have these four women in the second section of the 15 is kind of insane.
That's
so
crazy.
We'll talk about the top section in a little bit, but yeah, so really excited for those storylines in general, just because, it's Sadie, right? Like high school phenom, obviously went 4:27 at Millrose, set the high school national record there. So excited to see her make her season debut after kind of foregoing CIF eligibility this year. So
I love it. I like
what do you
Sadie. I like watching her race too, especially being that young. It's going to be fun to see her against that field, even though it's the B section. Let me put some quotes around that because it seems a little stacked.
I'm predicting like a tactical race from her or something like that. Like a very
it's just
race.
crazy how stacked it is. And because like I thought like if I just had the names in front of me, I'd be like, oh yeah, for sure. Like Sadie's going to be the top heat. And then you like look at it and you're like, yeah, it makes sense that she's in the slow heat, especially when you consider that, you know, you have these other 3 great stars in that heat as well. So there's a chance though that second heat actually runs something really, really fast. I think there's going to be a little bit more strung out, a little bit more opportunity just to kind of get in line and just run fast. And I think that top section could be a little bit more packed up, strategic, could slow them down a little bit.
John, do you think that if in the second heat, Sadie goes into it with the intention of running a certain time, she can potentially be within that like maybe top 3, top 5 group with the first heat?
No. We'll talk about the top section. Actually, let's just talk about the top section now because we're on the topic of the 15. But just looking at the field, it's stacked. You have obviously Shelby Houlihan, who made her return to the sport after a 4-year doping ban. And so she made her return in the indoor season. We saw her kind of tear it up and run some really, really fast times. And we're kind of expecting her to continue that during the outdoor season, and she has. So you have her, and then you have Claudia Kazmierska. She has a 3:59 PR. So obviously blazing fast. And then there's a number of other women that are either right in the low 4s or in the 3s still. So you have Katie Snowden, who's gone 3:58 in the past, Flamina Asakal, and then a number of other women. Gabby Jennings is in that. She only has a mile time, but she's gone 4:25. Most of the women in the top heat, actually all of the women in the top heat, have a faster PR over the mile or 1,500 distance compared to Sadie. So I think she would have to have like a really, really, really good race. Like we're talking high school national record would have to be, she'd have to go like 4:03 mid to have a chance for that top 5 from the slow heat, which would be insane. Like that would be incredible. But that's what Colleen Quigley is like seated at. So I think that slow section has a chance to run that fast.
Okay.
It's just a matter if they do or not. But anyway, so that's the 1,500. That's the women's 1,500. That's like arguably the most exciting race potentially. But there are a number of other storylines to talk about. The slow second section of the men's 5K has Justin Knight in it. And this is a really, really fun storyline because in 2021, he ran at the 2021 Tokyo Olympics on a torn Achilles. He tore his Achilles. He ran on it at the Olympics, finished 7th in the 5K, but has been out pretty much since. Has spent the last 4 years recovering from that injury. Finally made his return to the track this outdoor season, ran a 1,500 at the Oregon Open and as well as the Oregon Twilight meet. And he ran 3:42. So like for not running for 4 years, that's relatively respectable. I mean, I would say, at least not racing for 4 years, to come back and run, something that converts to a sub 4 mile is pretty impressive. Excited to see him return to that 5K distance now with a couple of races under his belt. I mean, when he got hurt, he was at the top of the sport. I mean, he had a 12:51 5K PR, finished 7th at the Olympics. He was just kind of blossoming into the young talent that, we kind of believed he could be. So it was really disappointing to see him kind of go out of the sport for 4 years. And I think a lot of us thought he was done. A lot of us thought there was no chance he was going to return from being out for so long. And here he is this year back on the track. He says he's back on Instagram. So I know he's in the slow section, but really excited to see him race. And yeah, I think you know a thing or two about Justin Knight, right?
Listen, Justin used to come into the training room singing Drake.
Okay,
regularly.
Period.
I am so excited to see him back in. Like, I mean, I'm biased for sure. Go Orange. But I think even as a fan, we see these devastating stories all the time. And I'm so happy that he's coming back. I'm so happy that he came back at a world championship year too. And, he's always had the mentality that, I can win, that I will win. And I think carrying that into this race and I think into this season is going to be something special to watch. I love a comeback story. I think if anyone can do it, it will be him. I'm happy to see that he's healthy again. And I hope that he's also happy again because to see someone's luster and shine go away, it's not fun. So I hope he's back in that same Justin, like mini Drake type of era.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, he's in that slow heat, so he's gonna have to work to have a chance at that world standard, at least in his opener. Like I think, I don't know if he's necessarily even going to be close to that world standard quite yet, but hopefully by the end of the season, July, maybe late June, early August, somewhere in that range, he's kind of humming on all cylinders again. I mean, it's so hard, right? Like to expect him to make the world team run 13:01 after being away from the sport for 4 years is like an impossible task almost. So
yeah,
really excited to see him do it. And as I mentioned, that
booster.
Yeah, I mean, like, right, if he can go out and run 13:25, like, I know it's not super fast compared to where the world standard is at 13:01, but I think if you run 13:25, 13:30 off of no races at that distance, like, that has to be a huge, huge boost for him.
Oh, for sure. And when's the Canadian trials? In July?
I have no idea. I know when US is. And Jamaica trials. I know when Jamaica's are too, because it's the same time as LA Grand Slam.
Yeah, I have no idea. I would see they're usually in late June, early July, but I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
So that's the men's 5K. Then we look over. I mean, I didn't talk about the top heat. It has a lot of big names in it: Woody Kincaid, Sean McGorty, Kai Robinson, Dylan Jacobs. The list goes on and on. Andrew Coskren's in that. We saw him win the Grand Slam Miami 3K over Grant Fisher. So excited to see him jump in a 5K now. And he's more prolifically known as a 1,500 meter runner. So to see him bump up to the 3K at Grand Slam and now a 5K, I think it's a kind of an exciting distance for him just based on how he was able to run that 3K. So a number of talents in that race. I think, again, they're just going to be targeting that 13:01 world standard if they don't already have it. And that's got to be the goal for a lot of these men that are seated in the low 13s.
I love it. Now we're getting close to time. I'm not going to lie to you, John. So give me your last top two races that we need to like. I know you said there's tons of storylines, but like what should Demitra do this weekend? We have the women's 15, we have the men's 5K. Yeah.
I'll go real quick for you because I've got it. Like I'll give you like another deep dive one, and it's gonna be the women's 5K, mostly because of Heather McLean. She hasn't. I did the research. I looked into this. She hasn't raced a 5K in her professional career ever, and the last time she's never run a 5K on the track, from what I can tell. Nothing on her World Athletics profile, nothing on her TFRS profile. The last time she ran something over the 5K distance was in college at UMass Amherst. She ran 6K in cross country. Like that's the last time she has run something over a 3K on the track or on the cross country course, and that was in 2018. So it's been a minute. It's been a minute for her to run distance. Obviously, we've seen her have so much success at the middle distance events, at the 3K events. So excited to see her get into 5K and kind of test her strength a little bit. And so I'll be quick again. And then obviously we have to keep an eye on the 800s. The women's 800 is stacked. Allie Wilson, Raven Rogers, Cintayahu Visa. I'm the worst at her
the
name.
nickname. You're good.
Sage Herta-Klecker's in that. Valerie Tobias is in that. So a number of names in that. And then the men's 800 is stacked as well. You have Craig Angles, Mark English, Jose Harris, a lot of really, really fun names. I think we're excited to see Craig race at that 800 distance again because he's found some love in it this year. I mean, we saw him race it a couple of times already. And, going into this year, we hadn't seen him race 800 in a very long time. But he's found some excitement and passion in that event. I think, he spent so long working at that 15, that mile distance. So to see him kind of come down and try something new, I think it's just exciting for him and exciting for fans to see Craig just still out there, still doing the dang thing and trying to compete on this world stage. So excited to see him. And then I have to mention it because it's the most stacked field from a competitive standpoint is the men's steeplechase. The number of athletes in this who ran at the trials or the Olympics is insane. You have Bernard Keeter, Kenneth Rooks, George Beamish, Parker Stokes, who won the NCAA championship last year, Derek Johnson. List goes on and on. really excited for that race just from a competitive standpoint.
That race is giving U.S. outdoor finals. So
it is. It's literally, that's literally a final right there.
I love it. Thanks for going. That was speedy. I love it.
I try to be quick. I literally could go in so much more depth, but I know like we can only talk for so long. But if you're a fan of distance events, like you have to tune into TrackFest this weekend on FloTrack.
You heard it from the man who knows it all. You need to tune in to watch. I'll be watching specifically those 800 fields, and then of course the steeplechase. So
I'm excited for Raven Rogers.
I am.
I'm so excited for her.
I love a good 800. I'm not like that's a perfect. I'm not saying there's perfect races, but like you can be tactical. Like everything matters. Like who gets like the lead. Like who likes to just tuck behind. Like I'm a fan.
It's such a running gun race too.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Well, you consider like there's a good chance they run 158 mid, 158 low for the win, and then we could have that entire heat could be under 2 minutes,
and they're all capable.
Oh yeah, they've all done it. I mean, the only one who hasn't, I think, is Cinta. And I mean, she's more of a 1,500 miler, so, and she's gone 358. Like she has the speed.
Yeah.
The 800 depth is crazy right now. Like Michaela Rose, she won SECs at 159. But I won't get too much. I know we're at time. Sorry.
It's okay. We'll talk about NCAAs with English Gardner in a couple weeks on the meetup. But that's pretty much a wrap. We ran through a lot. We talked about this past weekend, what to watch this upcoming weekend, a little bit of NFL in between all of that. But that is episode 11. I can't believe we're all the way here now, but it's been fun. We'll be here every single Tuesday. If you want to hear about anything, hear more about something, drop a comment, email us in the description, all the things. But we'll see you next Tuesday and every Tuesday after that. Thank y'all for watching, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye, y'all.